And hello, everyone, and welcome to the Black Eel Podcast. And on this episode, we have a jam packed episode. We'll be talking about season 3 of X Men the Animated Series to get us ready for next week for X Men 97. And yes, we will still continue to watch the seasons of X Men the Animated Series along with X Men 97. So
Next
we'll
week
be
is
talking
going to
about.
be a lot.
Yeah. So this week we're going to be talking about, like I said, season 3 of X Men the Animated Series. We're going to be talking about the latest episode of the Bad Batch, and then we'll be ending. The last thing we'll be talking about is the mid-season premiere of Invincible season 2. And then, as always, we'll end with a character spotlight, but this week from Mike. So let's get right into it. So obviously, it's very clear who the main villain was in this season.
Yeah.
So it was technically the Phoenix, but Dark Phoenix specifically. Realistically, I'm just going with Phoenix in general.
It was the build it was the buildup of Dark Phoenix's arrival, and then
And then
Phoenix arrived, and it
Dark
was
Phoenix being the villain.
yep.
I definitely have to say, like, obviously this was a Jean Grey season for
Yeah.
sure. I think I forgot that was a whole season. I thought that was like spread out through multiple seasons.
Yeah. So
Like,
like when
like I do
when
remember, like it was a chunk of like the Phoenix, and then it was a chunk for the Dark Phoenix. I did remember that, but I thought it was spread out more, and it was not.
yeah. I was kind of going there expecting her to get the Phoenix in like the last two seasons,
Yes,
and then this season kind of turning into her being evil and them trying to stop her, but it just was like her being good in the beginning and then being corrupted, and then that was the end. um, I did kind of like how they incorporated that into the show, just her coming to life and experiencing the like all the emotions that she never experienced before, and that just experience that for the first time corrupted her into turning evil because she like mistook it as what it wasn't. And
well, I think it was one of those things where it's like it liked the feeling of it, like
yeah,
not registering. Like I think it was one of those things where it's like it's not the Phoenix is a beat like a celestial being, so it's not like it understands everything as much as it thinks it does.
yeah,
So like the fact that it felt emotion, like yeah, it knows what destruction is, but like in the celestial's eyes, destroying something isn't its end.
hmm,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
hmm,
ooh, this is fun, so I'm going to keep doing it. Almost like a child. And I hate saying it that way because I don't want anyone to think like, oh, you're saying the Phoenix is a child. No, but when it becomes a human for the first time, it is like a child
yeah.
because now it likes all this instant gratification.
But then it also at one point it was in the final episodes. I think it was the last one or the one before, but when it
It
was
was the second
attacking.
to last episode because it was the last episode of the Phoenix, I believe, is what you're talking about.
Either way,
Yeah.
the when it was fighting the X-Men, she says, I'm feeling this feeling. It feels like remorse. I don't understand why I'm feeling this way. It was
Yes.
hurting people, and it was like I'm enjoying this. Why do I feel guilty about this? I don't understand. It's just like it clicks, like you're saying, like you're a kid, you have these feelings, you don't know what they are, and you're just still going through the motions because you don't know better.
Correct. And the only difference is this is a toddler that it can eliminate a solar system.
Yeah,
Yeah, just like a basic child, you know. No, I agree with you. Like 100%, I'm on board with that. I also thought this had the better story, season wise.
yeah.
I do admit, like there was a couple of weird episodes in it, like mixed in.
Hmm.
Like I didn't like the season finale of this season personally.
No, really.
Um,
I mean, the season
well,
finale still had the fight with Phoenix. It just it was like a kind of a rush.
no, there was an episode after that. Yeah, the season finale was not the end of the Dark Phoenix saga. It was when they had the alien invasion. The green.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yep,
You
yep,
get
yep,
what I'm
yep.
like it. Like I wish it would have. Like I wouldn't have cared if that was in the middle. I didn't like that was the end. But
No, you're
the
right.
episode itself wasn't bad. But I mean, like the overall the story of this season was by far my favorite.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
I do like that they call themselves the Inner Circle and not the Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
Um, because I'm assuming because it's a kids show and they don't want to say hell. It's the '90s. We can't say hell. Um, I loved. So we got to see Deadpool this season as well.
Yes, we did.
He kicked Wolverine in the chest when we had the evil professor.
Yep. Yep.
What else? What else? What else? Oh, I mean, obviously we had Sword Sabretooth. We saw a lot of people in this. Like there were a lot of cameos.
No, there
Um,
were. There was. I
what
mean,
was this the? This was this. Yeah, we had Spider Man make an appearance. It was just his
yeah,
hand.
yeah, yeah, yep. I
Um,
remember that. Yep.
it was his
I'll be
hand.
honest. Like outside of the Phoenix story, like the ones in the middle kind of blur together, and it's like I don't really remember that one. I
Well, no,
remember.
that was part of the Phoenix Saga.
Yeah. No. No. I
It
know.
was when the sun. I think it was when the sun was getting destroyed. It was the wasn't it the wormhole? No, there was something happening on Earth that wasn't supposed to. Because I remember like the Earth was trying to because it had to do with it was the crystal, it was the gem reacting and it was sucking everything in, and that's when all of reality was like being torn apart, and they were trying all the heroes on Earth were trying to just save Earth basically,
Okay.
and that was when they were inside the gem. So like we were seeing outside and on Earth, and that's when we saw like a bunch of the heroes. So I believe we saw Doctor Strange. We saw a lot of people in this. Granted,
Hmm.
it was just for cameos. It was not
Yeah.
for like
No, nothing significant. Just the
no.
heroes
It
coming
was
together.
legitimately like you blinked, you missed it.
Yeah.
I also like the story arc of Scott Summers and Alex Summers, where we find out that his dad is a space pirate.
Yep. That was good. That was
Uh,
heartfelt.
yeah. I also don't like that. That's the first time we've mentioned. That's only like the second time we've mentioned Havoc, and we've seen him multiple times, like just twice. But like not being his brother, like we've not like they've met each other like in person, and they weren't like, "Hey, brother." It was literally them just fighting each other. It was
Yeah.
X Men versus X Force,
Hmm. Yeah.
or what were they called at the time? I don't think they were X Force, X Team, or something stupid like that.
I don't remember.
But anyway, that was the first time we got to see Forge in the present. Um, I actually like Forge. We
It
got to
was
see
fun.
Strong. Oh, so that team was Forge, Strong Guy, Wolfsbane, Polaris, and Havoc. Now, do you know who Polaris is?
The name sounds familiar.
So there's been many speculation, and things have changed throughout the millennia. Um, at one point, she was the child of Magneto. Other times, she just happens to have the same powers as Magneto. She's always had green hair. That's never changed. But there's been like it's been a change of like who her parents are. She's
Mhm.
gotten the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver a treatment. Oh, Quicksilver was on the team too. She's gotten the Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch treatment where like yeah, he's kind of the dad, but not always. Um, I mean,
Depending on
quite
how.
literally, that's what it is. And she has the same powers as Magneto. I think slightly weaker, obviously. Um, and she's actually in the comics was more of somebody who's been like part of the X-Men as like Professor X's assistant more than anybody else, and she's not in this at all. Like she's really wasn't in this. Like
Hmm.
same thing with like Dazzler. Dazzler was more of what Jubilee was before Jubilee came in, because we saw Dazzler later on when we saw the Hellfire Club
Yeah.
or the Inner Circle. Sorry.
I did like that. I did like those episodes because it emphasized it
That they
just
were.
emphasized how powerful a group they were and how like in this timeline how unaware the X-Men of what was going on outside of them,
Yep.
and like how easy it was to manipulate Charles if you were able to play the cards right in terms of like you know because Charles is in his head as like being one of the most powerful mutants, so he can't be tricked. So
But
someone
he
else
has
being,
been.
but he has been, but being able, like someone being able to go into his mind and like throw stuff in there in his head, he's like, that's not possible, but happens quite frequently.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. I think in this, I think I in this series, I've not liked Charles Xavier.
I'm not a
I
fan of him in this.
I've always liked Charles Xavier, but I
Mhm.
think I've liked the movie versions, the video game versions, and even the comic version to a certain extent. Obviously,
Yeah.
not all renditions of him, but most of them. And then I'm watching this guy, and I'm like, kind of hope he dies. And I'm like, well, I gotta wait a couple seasons, but
I
um,
don't know. It's just a little bit of part of him is just like like his arrogance kind of irks me.
it's the arrogance to me, but it's also like it's arrogance and also like it quite literally is like he is oblivious,
Yeah.
like or naive. I don't know which one I would rather say, but like it's a combination of the two. Like it's like he's kind of naive and oblivious at the same time.
Hmm. It's funny
Um,
because it's like everyone, like I remember talking, like when I talk to people about this show, they're like, oh yeah, I remember Cyclops. He's like such an ass in the show. Like no, you don't like him, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, I can see some of the things where it's like but he's
First
being a
season,
leader,
yes. First season, yes. But I think he's grown more where I've
and I'm
actually enjoyed him.
and I'm sitting here watching. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I just dislike Charles Xavier more than Cyclops.
100%.
Like some things like he does, it's like I don't like it, but at the same time, he's a leader, so he's being a leader. So you cut him some slack because he has to make those tough calls and he has to be hard and he has to, looking out for the good of the team. But then like it's just like Charles is like just not being Charles.
No, I agree. The other thing too is like I also feel like this version of Cyclops is a lot better than the one in the comics. In the comics was the one where I really hated Cyclops because
Really?
he was always cheating on Jean Grey. It was
Oh,
oh
okay.
yeah, it was a whole thing.
I have
Like
to say also this season I know it wasn't really Jean Grey, it was the Phoenix. I liked Jean Grey a lot more because of this. She was more powerful. She wasn't just tossed around. She wasn't like the helpless damsel in distress 100% of the time, even though she
I agree,
kind of was. But it's like seeing more of her character instead of
but
just being
also
like, oh Scott, I can't, I need help. It's like,
yeah. The other thing too was that final fight where they had to fight for her freedom.
yeah,
I mean, she was tanking, and that was without the Phoenix.
yep, she was doing good in that.
I mean, that was showing her like skill from the, like oh, that's like X-Men skill.
Hmm. I liked also in this season that they leaned in heavier with the Wolverine love triangle between the three in the terms of with Wolverine being the only one who has the full capability of killing Jean Grey, but because he loves her, he can't kill her. And they kind of, even though they still weren't using his healing abilities to its full effect, he was able to hold his own for a little bit against the Phoenix,
Longer than the others for sure.
longer than the others, and he was able to like she was attacking him, and he held his own for a few seconds before getting knocked away. But that's the closest we're going to get to his full instantaneous healing effect in the
Absolutely,
show.
absolutely. So we've gone over everything. Who is your favorite character in this season?
In this season.
Only this season. I know this is a tough one. I I don't even have mine yet mentally. Like I'm bouncing between a couple, but you say yours.
I mean, honestly, I love Wolverine.
Yeah, I will. So like I I was thinking him, but then I was like also the Phoenix. Like
Phoenix was, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like I was like I'm kind of the Phoenix, right? But then again, I was uh like I was also trying to think like who got me like excited in general. And I do like the Hellfire Club or the Inner Circle so much that I did like Sebastian Shaw just
Mm,
because he could take out the X Men with ease.
yeah.
Um, and I do like that. So like it was like kind of those three combined. But if I had to choose one for just the season, I'm going with the Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, definitely, Phoenix was up there. I go with I like Shaw. I like that whole story that they did.
Yep,
I even liked that the island, the Savage Island. I like that story with
that was a
those
good one.
characters. What is it? Curon? Sauron.
Sauron.
Sauron. I even liked him, like the story between
I
the
forgot. I
human.
forgot that that was his power. Like I forgot he was a mutant who like he's basically a mutant, and if
Yeah,
he absorbs, he needs to absorb energy to survive. But then he becomes Sauron when he absorbs mutant energy.
is so he's not a mutant. He's a mutate.
Y-
Correct?
I mean, like tomato,
Is
tomato.
I mean I didn't know because they
Like
were
yeah,
identifying
like
themselves
so, like
differently.
so, yet like yes, because Magneto kind of created him. So yes, so he's more of a mutate in the show, but I think he's considered a mutant.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Like I think I'm almost positive. Like yeah, I don't think there's a. I mean, I guess the difference would be that he was created after birth as a mutant, not, and that's why it's called a mutate, where a mutant is born.
Hmm.
I guess would be the distinction. So like if we're going with that as being the distinction, then he's technically a mutate, not a
Hmm.
mutant. So
Okay.
he'd be a mutate, but his power is the fact that he absorbs
It's the same
mutant
thing.
or mute.
Yep.
I think it has to be mutant energy that he absorbs to turn into Sauron. I don't think it could be a mutate.
Oh, okay.
I don't 100% know because we've never seen him do it, but I'm we've only
I
ever
would
seen
say
him.
probably it doesn't make a difference due to the fact that when we first were introduced to him, he was already Sauron, and they
Yes,
didn't have any
well,
contact with mutants
yeah, he
before.
did because Mister Sinister was there with his group.
Oh, and you think, well, he was a servant of Mister Sinister, so you think Sinister was just feeding him,
Oh yeah,
basically? Oh,
uh-huh.
okay. All right,
Oh
that
yeah,
makes sense.
definitely because he knew who the guy was before. He's not going to
Yeah,
help
yeah,
him. So it's like let's keep giving him energy. Suck
yeah,
it dry.
yeah.
Um,
But
no,
I also liked the story with Lady Deathstrike when
that was a good
introduced.
one too.
That was a good tie-in to giving Wolverine even more personality, which we
Well, not
don't
only
lose.
that, it also tied in aliens.
Yep.
Definitely
Um,
like that too. I mean, overall, I mean, story wise, I thought like beyond better than all the other seasons so far.
it was good because it was like this show is actually doing pretty good. Where at least with the last two, season two and season three, where the mini stories all together were like all over the place, but they
But
all
they
come and
eventually
tie
come
together.
together. I think that's the one thing where I'm like, I forgot so much about like oh, that was just a one off episode, and it's like, oh no, it wasn't. Like we're gonna find out next season. Like that's where we're going with this.
Hmm.
So I do like that, but I do like their flashbacks because they definitely help significantly.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's been like 14 episodes, and I'm like, oh, there we go. Like all the time traveling ones were together, even though they weren't actually together, like
Yep.
like
Yeah.
chronologically.
Yep.
Yeah, no, overall very good. So yeah, no, I did like it. I'm excited for us to watch the longest season next week. 21 episodes, season 4. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be phenomenal. It's gonna be the greatest season ever. I hate my life. All right. So are you ready to move on
This is
to the
going,
bad?
and it's of course the
Oh,
one where we got the most content too.
yep, yep. I planned that out perfectly. Mwah, love it. I did not even. I thought for some reason X
Although
Men was
I have to say it, I mean, it really kind of balances out because we don't really have the most content. This week it's kind of the same because we had 2 episodes of Bad Batch, whereas next week we only have 1 episode of Bad Batch. So
correct. So I mean, yeah, I agree with you. So speaking of, let's talk about the Bad Batch.
those were really good episodes.
I will say this. I was surprised how good these both episodes were. I was expecting one of them to be junk.
Yeah, no, yeah. So I was so like I know last week we were talking about because we got the name of it. It was infiltration and then extraction. So I had thought it was going to be them on the island,
Agreed.
and they were have to the Empire invaded and then they had to flee. So I was kind of right. It just wasn't the correct location.
You
And
were, yeah, you were
despite how
100%
they went
right.
about it, like I had the right idea, obviously based on the
No, no.
name.
Well, because I was going to say the name kind of helped out significantly. No
Yeah,
offense. It was just like, without those names, you would have never guessed this
absolutely not.
in a million years. I thought this was awesome. So that we have the shadow clones, which is what I'm calling them now. Um,
Pretty sure that's what they're called.
no, it's the Shadow Project, but shadow clones are from Naruto. Um, because they're called just shadows. But
Yep.
then it just so happens that they're clones, so I'm calling them shadow clones.
Whatever.
Um, I love it. I love every second of it. Leave me alone. I think what's awesome is how trained they are. I think that's what kills me on this was like how trained, like more trained that these new operatives are, because they
They're
seem to
able to
be.
hold their own against Task Force 99 or whatever they
Yeah,
are. So I mean, they're very well trained.
no, absolutely, 100% agree with you. Um, so we we see the senator from last season. No,
Yeah, last season because last season was when they started doing away with the clones.
that's right. That's right. That's right. So we see her again, the little blue woman, um, and she wants
Senator Tao, I think.
it. I think it's like Chow. I think there's a C in there somewhere. It's a
Okay.
it's a name that I knew I was gonna butcher. Like I do put it this way. For once, I actually do like sort of know her name, but like
Wow.
I but I knew I would never have said it correctly because of the amount of vowels in it. But anyway, so she wants to go against the Empire, which shouldn't be a shock to anybody. And she's trying to convince old separatist senators to join forces with her. And so Rex is part of the crew to protect the senators to meet. And during this whole kit and caboodle, we have the Shadow Clone coming in and taking out clones like it's his job. I know it is his job, but I mean, like he's taking them out. He's taking them out like the clones mean nothing.
Hmm.
Like he's taking clones out like Luke Skywalker taking out stormtroopers. Like this is easy.
It was. It really was showing how how effective these clones were,
The
and
successful projects.
yep, and somehow Rex was able to capture him, tried to interrogate him, not working until excuse me, they finally bring in Task Force 99, and as soon
Witness.
as they see Crosshair, that's when the clone starts talking. And in the meantime, the Empire detects that the clone has gone missing, so they
Yep.
send in another clone
Missing
to
but not dead.
yes. And so they send in another clone to take him out, so that way he doesn't reveal any secrets. And
The
that
reason,
whole
well,
sequence,
before that, the reason why the Bad Batch was called was for two reasons. One, they wanted to talk to Crosshairs, and the second was because their next hit list was Omega. Now, not to
yep,
kill her, but to capture her. But she was the next target.
yep. So just seeing that whole thing of him sneaking around, planting the explosives, and
Being very stealthy. Like I mean, I,
yeah,
I, I mean, like I know, like oh well, obviously he was being stealthy. He's called a shadow, but I mean to the point where like he was doing so well. Like I for sure thought he was killing at least one of the Bad Batch members.
I
All
thought
joking
he was
aside,
too.
I and we'll get into that a little bit later. But I was dead set he was going to kill everyone, or at
Um,
least have a good chance of killing some like major characters.
yep. And I don't know if you noticed, but in this episode, in the first one, the infiltration episode, they talked about one of the clones that was in Rebels. And I'm not talking about the extraction episode. I'm talking
Well,
about
well,
infiltration.
we saw him in Infiltration anyway.
Did we see him?
Yeah, we didn't know who he was. We assumed it was him. We never got his name in Infiltration. I
No,
mean,
no, 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 not the one working for the Empire. Because we
who's the
find
other
out
one?
who he is in extraction.
No, I know that. We find out who he is in Extraction, but I took a guess. I was like, is that who I think it is? Just because it was the blatant, obvious pattern on his uniform.
It was they mentioned Gregor.
Oh,
We didn't
that's right.
see him, I don't believe, but they had said, "Oh, Gregor's doing something."
That's right. That's right. I forgot he was from Rebels too. He was
Yep.
the weird one.
Yes.
He was the one
Yep.
that laughed a lot.
Yep. And so in Extraction, that's when we find out the other one who I was gonna save him for later. But
Well, no, what I was gonna say is, it's like, uh, at this time I didn't know who he was. I was like, I feel like we're supposed to know who this guy is, and the only person that comes to my mind is the guy we find out who it is later. But I'm like, I don't think so.
so I'll be honest. So the entire time when I saw Commander, I honestly thought it was Cody because we still haven't seen what happened with Commander Cody.
No, that's fair. But it didn't look like his uniform,
I
which is
so because like I wasn't looking at the uniform, I was looking at it as they changed
the
it because
rank.
now he's with the Empire.
You were
You
thinking
know,
just rank alone.
yeah,
Okay. I
because they weren't giving any names. So
No, that's fair. I was seeing the helmet and everything else, and the symbol on it. I was like, literally the only name that came in my head was that, and I'm like, but I don't.
it
And I
was it was Commander Wolf.
Yeah, but I was just like, so I'm like, it's got to be Wolf. Like that's the only person. But I'm like, I don't think so though, because I'm like, I don't think so. Like I thought he was on Rex's side,
Yeah. So
and I
I'm
was like,
curious what happens down the road.
well, we kind of sort of see it a little bit. Um, I mean, like a very minor piece. But anyway, so it ends with kind of Commander Wolf explaining that they're gonna be taking him out.
Yep.
They're gonna extract the the main target.
Well, the
Hyman's
thing.
main
So
target.
the thing that I liked
Is it
about
Dr. Hyman?
huh
What's the doctor's name?
Hemlock.
Okay.
What did you say?
Nothing.
I want to hear what you said.
Nope. No, because you can watch the video later. I am not repeating myself because of what I said.
I'm
It's
going to hear
hemlock.
it later.
Nope, it's
I want
hemlock.
to hear it now so I
No,
can properly yell at you.
no, it's hemlock. It's Doctor Hemlock, and it's his primary target, which is Omega.
Did you say like Dr. Hermie or something stupid?
Nope, nope, nope. It's even worse. So we're gonna keep going.
Did you say Hermione?
Nope, even worse than that. I said Doctor Hyman. So Heimlock. Um. So anyway, we the episode ends with, I believe the episode ends with Commander Wolf saying that they're going to go and attack.
The episode ends with them saying they're coming in, but then it really ends with there's like that brief firefight between the shadow clone and
But
the
it's the ending is kind of like the explosion, and he's under rubble that we thought,
yep. And then
because
the
we
next
thought he
episode
was
starts
under
with him
rubble.
coming out of the rubble.
Well, I don't think he was ever crushed by it. I think he was just. It looked like he was crushed by it in the episode.
Either way, like
But
yeah.
anyway, you're right. The next episode starts with him coming out of the rebel. Well, rebel. Um,
Well,
and
I no, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, and then the Bad Batch decide that they're going to go down in the tunnel.
Yeah,
Because
they're trying to get to the extraction point.
absolutely,
Um, I liked that when Commander Wolf and the Empire arrived, Wolf was is like Wolf is clueless. He doesn't realize what's happening to the clones. He's loyal to the Empire, and he sees the clones dead. He's like, "This is one of our own. Why are they getting killed? They're like they're
no,
rebels." And he's like, "No, they're
no,
not. They're one of us."
no. It was more like, why are clones attacking us? It was kind of more of like, why are the clones attacking us? They're supposed to be on our side. I took it slightly different. So like I took it as like, he's like, why are these guys the bad guys? Like, what the hell's going on? Like, I agree with you on that front, but it was more the fact of like, I don't think he thought like the Empire was attacking Empire. I think he was like, why are clones attacking us?
Yeah, I mean either way, like he's confused as to what's going on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then you get to the end of the episode, and it's even more prevalent because
Well,
he's
actually, before we get to that, I want to really talk about, because that's going to open up a whole can of worms that we're going to be talking about. I
mm,
want to get to the point where we're in the spire, and we have Crosshair's thinking on the fly.
Yeah.
I got to give this man credit. He cannot shoot like he used to. He was missing. He was stormtrooper level accuracy. Okay, and that's saying something. And Mike will agree that I'm not wrong. He doesn't like it, but he knows I'm not wrong.
I mean, a little bit better.
Well, no, he was smart. He's like, well, I can't do this. I'm going to shoot a grenade instead,
Mm-hmm.
and that
That
worked.
was very smart.
I was very
Um,
impressed by that.
but I liked that they were portraying like the hand becoming even more of an issue.
Yes,
Um,
I just try to figure out like I understand like all his blood was taken from there, but like there has to be more to it. I think it had to do with more the Shadow Project than it did.
that's what I was guessing is the fact that they tried to turn him into the Soldier.
And he,
It messed with him because of the fact that like they were saying like not all clones survived the process. So he probably had some kind of negative reaction to it because of the fact that he is immune to
well, he's defective.
yeah, he's defective. So because of that, it was like affecting him, and then it had a negative reaction, making it so his hand probably twitched and whatnot.
No, I got you.
That's my guess.
No, I mean I get it, but I think originally it made us think like it was from the blood extraction, just because they were taking blood from the hand from
It's
everyone.
also possible.
I mean, it is possible, but I like that version better in the sense of being like, I like the idea of it being the Shadow Project more than actually being from just being his blood being taken.
Speaking of the Shadow Project, that we found out that the clones don't actually know what the M count is,
Yeah, which kind of confuses me. I thought
which that surprised me. Being so around the
I,
Jedi so much, I figured that they would have known.
it's not so much that I'm not surprised. Like a lot of them didn't know. I was surprised Rex didn't know.
Yeah, like
Out of all
the
the
big
people,
wheels.
like I would expect like the bigger name ones to have known it. Meaning like Rex and like Cody. Like obviously
Yeah.
Cody isn't here, but I mean like those guys would know. But the fact that none of them knew, I was like,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Like it makes sense that Omega and Bad Batch don't know.
I'll be honest. I'm even surprised that Omega didn't know because she was around the Kaminoans so much that I figured that she would have heard something about it.
No, because back then they weren't doing the Necromancer project.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. I mean, I just would have assumed that it was something that I don't know. I feel like it's something that because they're so knowledgeable, although they're kind of clueless too. So never mind.
Exactly, it's a weird thing.
No, the
It's like
Kaminoans are smart, but yet they're incredibly clueless. So
exactly. Um,
can you repeat after me?
Kaminoans.
Now, what's her name?
Nalasai.
Close. Now let's say.
I mean, come on, that's the closest I've ever been.
Better than whatever it is that you were saying before.
Um, what was I going to say? What was I going to say? Yeah, so we got to see. I do agree with you. I was kind of surprised about the M count. Like nobody knew it, and I'm like, nobody, not a one, not
Yeah,
a single one of you. Like that's like major. Like that's major issues for me. So like that means we're going to be spending a couple episodes of them figuring out what the heck an count is.
yeah. I feel like it's going to be something that they figure out towards the end of the season.
Well, no,
Um,
I think we're going to see them like traveling around looking for the stuff. I don't think they're going to. I when I say they're going to find out in the next couple episodes, I mean they're going to be looking for it in the next couple episodes.
no. I think the rest of the season they're going to be trying to figure out what that is because they want to figure it out to stop the Empire. And
I
I
don't think
don't
they
think,
find out until they break into the facility.
yeah, I don't think they're going to find out until they get until like the ending.
Well, no, they're going to break into the facility. That's going to be the end of the season.
Yeah,
Calling it right now.
but I don't know. I don't know how this is exactly going to end
Oh, I'm
because
going with it. I'm going with it. I feel like we're gonna have a two-parter at the end, right? So like not two episodes at once, but like it's gonna be like a cliffhanger to really piss people off, and then the last episode is gonna be the end fight of it all, and then we have an epilogue. So like when I say epilogue, I don't mean a brand new episode. I mean like we're gonna see like 5 years later, 10 years later, or whatever, right? Or 6 months later, or 6 weeks later. I don't give a crap, but it's gonna be time later, and we're gonna be like, this is what's been going on lately, and that's where I'm going with it. And I don't know who's gonna live. I don't know who's gonna die, but I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of death.
I have a
You
feeling
know
that
who?
they are.
Actually, you know who I know lives? Rex.
Oh yeah,
That's it.
I kind of have a feeling that the most of the Bad Batch are going to die in it because I feel like they're not going to be able to retire. So I feel like because with all this going on,
It makes
them
more sense that they retire their way, like
yeah
they go out their way.
yeah
I also thought Crosshairs was gonna die.
it looked like it for a little bit yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I'm glad they didn't, obviously, but I was like, wow, we're really doing this right now because
So in the
the
in the
reason why
middle of it, I didn't think he was going to die, but it was like I was like they're not going to kill him. He just got redeemed. There's more to his story,
but
so they're
that's
definitely not.
exactly why I said, oh no, they gave him such a big push in the last couple episodes. They're now getting rid of him. That would be such a. I mean,
That would have been
to be fair, that would have been that's like a stereotypical way to to go,
yeah.
especially in like anime. Like you get like a big backstory and a big character turn for the character, and then they die, and then you
That's
go,
that's literally what happened in The Walking Dead when I used to watch The Walking Dead. Side character got the main spotlight for an episode. They were dead by the end of the
yeah.
episode.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like so. I'm like in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, they might actually kill him. Like I legitimately thought it because of all the work they've done with him so far, and I was like, oh man, like all the work they just put into gone, and then
Yeah,
he
no,
didn't die.
I personally didn't think they were going to go that route. I thought because it's like there's still more to his story to tell, so I didn't think they were going to pull the trigger yet.
But
Um,
they definitely made me question it. I'll say that.
it would have been definitely a shock factor, but
I'm glad they didn't. Obviously,
yeah, they to get to the extraction point. The Empire comes out, and that's when we get the confrontation between. We find out it's Commander Wolf,
yes.
who was in Rebels, and Captain Rex having a conversation, and Rex and his group are explaining to Wolf how the Empire is actually not good, that they're experimenting on clones, and that they're torturing them and just doing all these heinous things. And
And he
Wolf is
doesn't
in
believe them.
complete denial.
He also doesn't believe it. It's
Yeah,
not until, huh?
yeah.
So he doesn't believe him. It's not until Rex goes, think about this. You're hunting down a child. Do you really think that there's something, you think there's something right about that? And that's when he's like, that's when he starts going, uh oh. Like, oh, maybe they are right. And it's like, you know what? Just go. And he lets him go.
So obviously, there's obviously gonna be some kind of consequences to him because he
Oh,
disobeyed an
100%.
order. So obviously, this is gonna lead to him leaving the Empire, joining the group, the alliance, whatever.
Or he could be sent to the facility.
So like this is where it's going to become like I wonder what's happened to him, down the road.
Hmm.
Um, and it also leads to the question that there are still clones that serve the Empire.
Which I
Um,
think was a shock to me.
that was still a shock. I was like, okay, I'm hearing the voice. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is Cody. Like, obviously, we had the clones for the shadow clones.
Which I
Um,
knew. But no, like some of the stormtroopers, I've been hearing like the clones' voices, but
exactly.
I'm like, oh, you know what? It's just probably they don't want to pay another actor, and it's not quite a clone. I'm like, it might not be him. And then this episode happens, and I'm like, nope, probably a clone.
Yeah. Yep. And so, like, although also I'm assuming that all of those troops in Wolf's brigade
Are
are
clones.
clones. Because otherwise, if they didn't, if Wolf disobeyed that direct order, I feel like the troop, a regular troop, a non clone, would have done something.
Correct, absolutely. No, I agree with you on that one. I don't think I thought any of them were clones until I registered that there was a clone leader. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like realistically, I thought they were just regular stormtroopers until we see the commander, who was clearly a clone, even though we didn't know who he was at the time.
Yep.
Um,
So now I knew that there were some clones still in the Empire. Like
but I don't
one
think
of
they were high ranking, in my opinion.
you're incorrect with that. So one of Palpatine's royal guard is a clone.
Like the red suit?
Yep.
Which one?
He he was like one of the
No,
only
which red
clones that.
one? Which red one?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, then you better point it out for me because I want to see this.
Do your own research.
Oh no.
um, yeah, he was the few one of the only clones that Palpatine actually fully trusted, and he knew that this clone would give his life for Palpatine, and he ended up giving his life for Palpatine. But
So he did his job.
so like they definitely were still clones in there. I just didn't expect like a whole brigade still being clones.
I thought they were more like sprinkled in.
Yeah,
I don't.
like
I
maybe
don't think.
once in a
I
while
don't
they
think
were
they.
there.
I thought they would have purposely not wanted a group like that together.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's more my thing. But hey, it happens. So yeah. So I think the next couple episodes are going to be just them trying to get information on what Hemlock is doing.
Yep. There's going to be more getting information. I feel like maybe they're going to be having information. Like we're going to get more of a sneak peek what's going on in the Empire.
I agree.
It's
Or
been a
at
while
least,
since we've
or
seen what's going on there.
or at least, even if it's not the Empire itself, it's Hemlock.
Yeah. That's like that whole facility
Um,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what we're going to be seeing more than anything else. I'm looking forward to that. But overall, I mean, that's pretty much what the last two episodes have been. I mean, they were great. But honestly, they were. I was expecting one of them to be great. I wasn't prepared that both of them were great.
No, yeah. One led just straight into the other, and
I
that
do
was.
understand why they put the two together, for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
just I just thought it was because one was going to be a filler episode and the other one was going to be like major, like boom. But
Yeah.
no, this was actually really good. I enjoyed it.
No, yeah. These were great. I mean, this season's so far been off to a banger.
And it
Off to
is
a
the
banger
final
start.
season.
It's been, you know, I mean, I've
No,
had
I
no
agree.
complaints.
100%. I agree with you. All right, you ready to move on to Invincible?
Yep,
All right. So Invincible starts off right where it left off.
him waking up,
Well, no, him dragging himself from
crawling
his
away,
own
crawling away.
blood.
Before we get into anything, I just want to point out that the only reason they split this up into two parters, is because they knew that this show was going to draw an audience, and they wanted to throw in ads into this show.
What were the ads?
Did you not get ads?
Oh, you know what? I did, and I don't even think I questioned that they were there.
There were literally two parts in the show
No,
in
they
the
were. No,
episode.
you're absolutely right. No, 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 absolutely correct. I mentally just was like, because I'm so used to watching Hulu now that I'm like, this is normal. I didn't even question it.
Yep. You either deal with the commercials in the middle of it, or you pay $2 extra to get rid of them, because that's, you know.
I mean, they knew what they were doing.
Yep. So that's the only reason. So they killed, like, okay, so like right off the bat, it was a good episode. Was it worth waiting 3 months to get into it? No. So they killed the hype that Invincible had to throw ads into it.
I will say though, a lot of things happen. So here's my thing.
It was a lot.
I'll say this. I'll say this. I agree with you that I think mentally in my mind, I thought of this differently. I agree with you that there was major hype for this, and the only reason why they did it was for ads. I think ruins it for a little bit for me, but I didn't know that watching it. So because of that, I wasn't ruined. Like realistically, I'm watching it and I'm like, and I'm like, this is great. And honestly, I thought this episode was really good. Like this is sort of what I was expecting for a mid-season premiere.
So it was good, but like I said, this show should not have had a break. It should
I will agree, or at least not that long of a break.
no,
I can understand taking like the holiday week off, like the holiday weeks off,
like
because
we've
no one's
talked
gonna be
about many
watching.
times.
Huh?
I said, like we've talked about many times.
Yeah, I mean, like that's been the big thing. It's like that makes sense to me, but like it should have been back in January, and then like I said February, and you were like, no, no,
No, you were saying no.
no. I said March. I said March,
You said
and
March.
you were like, there's no way they're gonna make us wait that long, and then you were like, Scott's right.
Yep. Hey, you didn't even think it was that long either.
No, I said beginning of March.
Yeah.
I think I literally
So,
said like the first week of March, but I was a lot closer than you because you were like, they're not even gonna touch March. We're not even gonna be in March.
well, I mean, I figured the show would go into
No, I
March,
know,
but
but what I'm saying is like we're not gonna have to wait until March. It's never gonna happen. They're not that stupid. And Mike's sitting here watching it, going, "They're that stupid," but I'm watching it.
they're that stupid.
But we're also that stupid for watching it. It
I
was
mean,
I
here's the thing that like if you're going on social media, any kind of social media, you don't see people talking about it. Like that's the thing. It's like they killed the hype because they wanted to throw ads into it. They wanted to
yep,
wait for the ad program to drop on Amazon on Prime to get ads in there. And the most anticipated show that they had in the last 2 years is now it's just like dead on arrival because they wanted to throw ads in there,
yeah,
which
pretty much.
sucks.
I mean, you're not wrong. The other thing too was all right. Let's take away that and talk about the story.
So now that my rant is done, let's get into the actual episode.
Mike hates capitalism. Everyone, big shocker.
Yeah, it
Um,
sucks, especially
Mike
recently.
Mike wants his shows and he wants them now. He doesn't want to be stopped in the middle. He doesn't remember what it was like when he was a kid when you couldn't speed through the commercials or skip the commercial.
So here's the thing.
He could because he recorded it on TiVo. You will.
No, no, I didn't watch shows on TV. I waited for them to come out on DVD so I don't have to wait weekly or yearly for them to come out.
Oh my gosh, this guy waited like 7 years for a show to come out to watch it.
Listen, you waited 30 years to finally watch Star Wars. I don't want to
That is
hear
a
it from you.
lie. That is a lie. I waited 27, and that is very different.
All right? I don't want to hear it from you.
27. 27. Actually, no, that's a lie.
Let's see. Let's add up all the show. Have you finished Jurassic Park yet?
Well, wait. Do you mean like I haven't watched the last two Jurassic Worlds?
Okay, I haven't seen the newest one yet because it hasn't come on any streaming services yet. Um, but I've heard it's terrible, so like I kind of like eh.
Yeah. I mean, I watched Jurassic Parks, all three of them. I watched those years ago.
How many years ago? Like, was it before college or was it after
Well,
college?
it was definitely before. It was definitely before Star Wars. Actually, I think I
Star Wars
watched.
was after college.
Um,
Because I feel like I remember, like in college, when I
I
mentioned
don't
Jurassic
think.
Park, you're like, I've never
No,
seen it.
no, I did. I no, I definitely have. I don't think I've watched. I think when I went to college, like before I went to college, I don't think I watched them in like. I don't think I watched them in a row. I think there was like a huge gap between them, but I do remember watching all three of them. Like I'm almost positive I was in high school.
Oh, okay. I must have. I might be thinking of another one because I know that there's a lot of big names that you haven't seen. I mean, there's a lot
No,
of big
like I
names that
didn't.
I
I,
haven't
I
seen
still
either.
haven't seen Lord of the Rings.
Oh, maybe that was it then. I mean, I didn't
No,
see
no,
Lord of the Rings until college anyway, so
I didn't see Lord of the Rings still. So I mean, like this Star Trek I've never seen. Like there's certain things like I've never seen, and like yeah, don't get me wrong, Star Trek like entices me, but it's just I just don't have the time, and it takes time
there's a
to
lot.
watch that stuff. Like
Yeah,
it's
there's a
like
lot.
don't get me wrong, like it's like I'd rather watch the new stuff, not because I think the old stuff is bad. It's just because I will fall behind so easily.
Hmm.
Once you fall
It's easier to
behind,
keep
man,
up with that now.
once you fall behind, you're gone. Like the only reason why I'm doing well with Star Wars now is because I caught up. Like I
Hmm.
literally just watched it all. I said, "Screw it! I'm watching it all, and I'm just gonna watch it in order, and I'm gonna just do that." And then I did it, and then now I'm caught up, and so I just watch it when it comes out. So now I'm not gonna be behind. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of thing I need to do. I don't have time to do it for every single thing
Oh
in the
yeah.
planet. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
there was so much going on.
My favorite thing ever from you, one of my favorite things ever from you is when you're finally watching Star Wars for the first time and you get up to Clone Wars. You're like, okay, this is okay. This is kind of boring. It's like it's picking up. Oh my god, this is so good. This is so good. Then you get to Rebels and you're like, okay, this isn't bad. It's not bad. And then all of a sudden,
No, I
like a
literally
week
no
later, I get a
Rebels. I
text from
literally
you going, Screw you! You didn't tell me that this is going to be the greatest masterpiece of
I did.
storytelling
I
ever. You
100%
didn't
said that.
prepare
No,
me for
but
this.
my first thought of Rebels was this is the worst animation I've ever seen in my life. And then all of a
Everybody's
sudden, like after like the first season, I'm like, this is the greatest show ever to have been created.
it was just
Honestly,
like
like that was ridiculous.
so funny, just like out of nowhere. I didn't talk to you for like a week or 2 weeks, and all of a sudden, the first text from you is like,
I think I was
"I hate you. You didn't prepare me for this."
I think it was it had I think I had to wait until season 2 like most things.
Yeah.
Like most shows once you get to season 2 like season 1 wasn't bad, it was just kind of like painting the picture of the world, which is what most things do anyway. But
Mhm.
I was just like, okay, it's pretty good. I don't hate it. I'm like, I'll watch it. And then the second season, it was just like, oh, and it just kept getting better and better. But all right, let's get back
Anyways,
to
back on
Invincible.
track. Back to
Yeah,
Invincible.
back to Invincible because Mike's now. I'm now done with my rant. Um, two. I don't think I registered. He was going to stay on that planet for 2 months.
yeah, I didn't. Yeah,
Um, all the everyone in that species got old real quick.
real quick.
He rebuilt the city himself. Then he came home, brought his little brother with him, which mom is thrilled with.
Yeah,
Oh,
she wasn't as pissed as you'd expect her to be.
I I think the reason behind it, I think, was because of how he's reacting to it.
Yeah.
She's being a good mother, where internally she's killing the kid.
Oh yeah. Well,
Externally, well, not she's not going to actually kill the kid, but
no,
you
no,
get my
no. I
point.
know. I know.
But what I'm getting at is it's like fiery rage against this kid,
Yeah.
and it's not so much the kid itself; it's the idea of the child.
It's the
It's the
husband.
it's quite literally just the idea of the child. It's the
Yeah.
fact that Nolan moved on to somebody else on another planet doing the same thing that was done to her, just faster.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's legitimately that was more of why she didn't like the kid than the kid itself.
Hmm.
I still like that he's purple, and it throws me off.
Makes no sense.
I would it would have made more sense blue personally.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think there's a reason for it because I think his color changes later,
Oh, okay.
like as he grows. Because I think he's still considered a larva.
Okay. That, yeah, that makes sense. That would make sense then.
So
Yeah.
like it's weird because it's like he's not actually a bug, but like he's half bug. So I
Yeah.
think like he's in this weird flux thing because I think he transforms because he eventually looks just like Mark,
Hmm.
obviously just a different color.
Hmm.
But I think he's also a less muscular version too. So like when he grows up, he doesn't get like muscle mass. He becomes strong, but he doesn't get like Mark gained muscle. I guess is the best way. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't. When his brother grows up, he doesn't look like he's muscular. At least not in the comics, anyway.
Hmm.
So anyway, Mark comes home. He's basically saying he's going to take a year off of school, and Mom's like, "No way in hell." Um, and I think what really messes me up with this is I think they did a good job about this too because I think this was one of the other reasons why I didn't have a problem with the 2 months waits. I mean the months wait was because of the amount of time that was gone in there in the show too.
It was in match with the show.
It matched with the show, and it was just like, oh, I guess a lot happened while we were gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like a dig,
Yeah.
like it was a dig, and it like I think that's what made me go like
It
he.
was a dig at themselves.
It was a dig at themselves, but it worked. Like I know you got mad because the ads and all the other stuff, but like in show wise, like it actually worked because Invincible's realizing like he had to go save a civilization while everyone else was literally fighting their lives and living their lives. So he
Mhm.
comes back and he's like, "Hey, I thought you were covering for me," and his buddy's like, "It's been 2 months. I can only cover for so long."
Yeah.
I honestly thought his girlfriend was going to have a boyfriend.
I thought. Yeah. I thought. Yeah.
I legitimately thought that she had moved on with somebody else.
Um, it
And the
was like also just like him like talking not about like how like he doesn't perceive. I mean, it's probably a little bit of a coping mechanism too, but like he doesn't perceive what everyone else was going through in terms of when he was talking to what's his name, head of the secret agent. Oh my god.
I know what you're talking about.
Anyways, when he's talking to him. and he's like I was gone for 2 months. It seemed like you guys made out okay without me here, and he's like, oh yeah, we made it out just fine, and they just cut to the image of Guardians
Which
of
is
the.
what I wanted to see so bad, and the fact that it was just a cutscene pissed me off to no end because I wanted to see destruction and mayhem, and that is not what I got.
You got it in other ways. I'll tell you
I
that.
I mean, I will agree with you, but at that moment in time, I was pissed. You were pissed when the first ad came on. I was pissed at that moment because I was like, "This is bullshit." I wanted to see it, and I get no.
I
Literally,
mean,
I got the immortal saying, "No."
so that scene kind of like didn't bother me because in the commercial I took it as a joke. So when it came on
It
in
did
the
come as a
episode,
joke,
it was a joke.
and it was
So like that's why it didn't bother me. But I totally understand where you're coming from, where it's like you were looking forward to that fight and you
because it
got.
because they made it seem like he is the most like he was the most powerful being in the universe,
Mhm.
and then nothing. Like, oh, I guess they won. I'm assuming. I don't know. Maybe he took over the world, and Cecil's now under his control.
Oh, that's his name, Cecil. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know why it came to my head now, but
Just nonchalantly, Cecil. Okay.
I don't have control over my head. I don't. I never
Wow.
did, and it just comes and goes. But anyway, yeah. So that was the thing. That was a big thing that I was a little PO'd about. But I liked how all like the side characters like dealt with some major stuff, and Invincible's realizing like, wow, the world really, like I think he didn't register like because I'm wondering too, like if he thought off planet, like time moved differently,
Mhm.
because it is a possibility he thought that.
Yeah, I mean, in his head, I think what it might have
But
probably
also,
been.
everyone around him was getting older too on that planet, so it's like a weird situation. So it's like I don't know what he was thinking. I don't even know if
He
he was thinking.
he also didn't want to go back to Earth when he was told he had to leave. He was forced to leave.
I know, which also kind of confuses me.
I mean, that was probably more of a guilt thing because he felt bad about what his father did to him, so
Correct.
he felt like he had to fix their problem, which there was no fixing the problem.
No,
The queen said it. It's like by the time next week comes around, we're all gonna be dead.
they'll be, and by the time he even says his first sentence, they'll be generations later.
Yep. So that's understandable, but like
I do
jumping
get that.
forward,
I think that threw me off just a little bit, but I understood it.
yeah,
When we got to Earth, like I said, I was kind of sad about how his girlfriend like lost her grandfather and everything else, and I'm like, wow, Mark wasn't there for anything. What a dick. And then I'm like, at the same time, he was also fighting for his life. So it's like, and I feel awful because it's like nobody wins. Like nobody's
no,
a winner there. Like nobody wins, right? And also nobody's the asshole.
hmm
Like it's a combination of like both, right? Like neither one, like then she's not saying it to make him feel bad. She's letting him know what events have happened in her life.
yeah.
He's not telling her to make her feel less like her problems aren't legitimate. He's saying it because he had to deal with something crazy and he hasn't had a chance to tell anybody.
They're giving life updates about what happened in the last 2 months he was gone.
And
You
they
know,
both feel bad about doing it.
yeah,
Um so yeah, that was a big thing for me. And then I like how Cecil basically threatens Invincible, being like, "They don't have armed guards take your brother," and it's like, man, really? You're gonna do that? He goes, "Yeah." Mhm. He goes, "I'm pretty sure your mother doesn't want it. Doesn't want." What did he? How did he describe it? I can't remember now, but it was definitely an insult. It was 100%
no, he
an
was like,
insult.
I'm pretty sure your mother doesn't want to be
Caring
carrying
for her ex
caring
husband,
for her ex's son.
something along. It was or her ex's. It was. I just remember like it was definitely a dig for sure.
Yeah,
It
it
was
wasn't
and it
like
was meant and it was meant to be a dig. Like it wasn't
yeah.
like not.
But
Um,
the interesting thing too is like I can't put my finger on Cecil because of the fact that like when he arrives in front of their house when they're talking and he's like we have people who can take care of the baby for you if you can't handle it. Like he's being down to earth and he's being like decent, but you
But
know that he's got a plot in the back of his head for it.
and they know it too.
Yeah, it's like it's so tough because it's like you want to trust him, but you know you can't.
I mean, I hate saying it, but he's literally the U.S. government.
Yeah,
So it's like you really can't trust him.
he
I hate
is.
saying it, but it's like I might be flagged by the FBI, but I mean, like, you can't trust them fully. Here's the thing. Not to say that they don't have good intentions, by no means. I think he has good intentions. He wants to make sure that the brother doesn't turn into what
Omni
Omni
Man.
Man was.
Yeah.
Just like he wants Invincible not to turn into what his dad turned into, right?
Hmm.
I think the idea is like there's good intentions behind it. That being said, he's going to do it in a way that he will do what he needs to do to fix the problem, whether
Hmm.
it's removing somebody or not.
Hmm.
Um,
And
so I did
it's
like that scene. There was also another thing we got to talk about, and this was like a heavy hint since season 2 started, which was his partner in crime, Cecil's number one or
oh
number
yeah.
two, depending on how you look at it. We find out that he's alive, but not really.
Hmm.
It's just his brain. And
Yeah.
every time his body gets destroyed, they put it in a new body.
And have his mind wiped of his death, which is interesting.
Well, I think
Or like his body, like his mind went into shock and it just erased the moment, kind of thing.
I think that's more likely what happens, personally. Um, but I could be wrong, but I think that was the case, and we got to see it pretty much in person.
Yeah,
Got choked to death, and
crazy.
all of a sudden wakes up.
Well,
But I also think too, like I don't think it's he doesn't remember it. I think it's more the fact that he thought it was a dream.
no, he literally says it in the episode. He's like, I don't remember this.
No, I know, but I think like he's. I think
Are you just saying it's like because it's a dream? It's like one of those things where like you wake up and you're like, oh, I remember this, but not really.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like I think it was one of those things where it's like, obviously I didn't die. I'm right here, so it's obviously a dream.
Okay, yeah,
But then
maybe.
when he tries to remember it, it doesn't work. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like it's like, how come I don't remember
That's
this?
also that's possible.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I feel like it was like initially like I think he saw what happened to him, like being
Hmm.
choked by the robot version of
Yeah.
himself. But then he woke up to somebody waking him up, and he's like, oh, obviously it was a dream.
Mm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I don't think. I think when he wakes up, I don't think it's like he doesn't remember it at all. I think it's one of those things where it's like, obviously it's a dream because I'm not dead.
Hmm. Possible. Yeah.
Because I think he thinks he's human again.
I mean, I guess he technically is.
Well,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like I think he's like only like fully human, like no robotic parts.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, so we have that, and then we have us having to go to Mars. Um, and I think this is the funniest thing because Shape Man or Shapeshifter, what was his name? Shapeshift
Shapeshifter.
or is it Shapeshift? It's something weird, but anyway,
No, I
and
think it's just shapeshifter.
and everyone goes, oh, "Yeah, we knew you were an alien." And
Yeah.
Samson is like, "Everyone knew but me," and it's like, yeah. It's like you don't think we would let you in our ranks without knowing what you were? Of course, we knew who you were.
Yep. And I
Uh,
just love that he's
I here's the thing. I knew Cecil knew
yeah.
without a doubt. The rest of them, though, I was kind of surprised that all of them knew, except for.
I'm surprised out of all of them, Rex knew.
Oh, speaking of, do you know who voices Rex?
No.
The guy who plays Dionysus in Percy Jackson, the show.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Same guy,
Oh, okay.
which I finished, by the way. But anyway, let's move on.
Proud of
Um,
you.
did you finish it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you did or not. But anyway, so we now have to. So now they're all. I say all. There were some Guardians who were left behind, but
Hmm.
also Rex got a little bit of a. Speaking of, Rex got a little bit of a character change for the better,
Yeah.
and did not go in his favor. which we'll discuss a little bit later. Um, my point I'm making is, so he basically convinced Eve to kind of join the team to help out, and he convinced her.
We
Um,
saw the softer side of him, which never see. This is
yeah,
the first time we've seen it. So
but there's a reason why we see it. Um, and we'll get to it very soon, I promise. Um, one of the big things too we have the group go. We have Robot, Monster Girl, Invincible, the Immortal. Did I already
Eve.
say Eve?
No, well, I mean, you mentioned her before, but so
Eve,
Eve,
Shapeshifter, Samson, and that's it.
yeah, because three people got left behind.
Yes. Duplicate. Who's the green girl? I forget her name.
I forget her name. And
And then
Rex.
obviously Rex.
Um,
Um,
so they all go to space because they are immune to the little
it's
alien
not so much
things.
that no, so they're not immune to it.
Well,
They're the ones whose abilities slash physiology is going to make it so they're not going to be easily taken over. There are two people who can be taken over.
yep.
Wink, wink. Eh, eh.
I mean, I know Eve. Who it was? No. It's the robot
Yes.
in his human form.
Yes. Because we saw them in the trailer of the
Yeah, I just forgot which. I forgot which. I knew Eve. I just didn't remember who the other one was.
well, because you don't always see him out of his suit, so it's kind of like
Well,
anyway.
I mean, we've been seeing him out of his suit a lot this season, so
Well, yeah, because he has a regular body. Um, so anyway, we get there and they're basically trying to figure out what's going on. They now cause a huge eruption of these creatures, and now they're trying to defeat them. Well, Robot was about to do like a sonic blast a second time to try to stop everything from happening.
a more powerful one.
Correct, but he had to be outside the suit to do so.
Yep, he had to get out of the
Eve
suit.
couldn't control, like, couldn't do or use her power anymore. It was becoming too much, and it
Hmm.
shattered. And now they will. It ends with them all being surrounded and unprotected, but nothing technically happened yet.
Yep, cliffhanger.
Yeah. And then the remaining guardians duplicate the green girl who could change her stature, and um,
Rex.
Rex were now summoned to stop the Lizard Society.
Yep,
Is that what they're called? They're called the Lizard Society.
I think so. We could be wrong, but I'm
The
going to just
Serpent
call him.
Serpent Society. The Serpent Society.
Wow, you're on a roll today.
I I don't know what I took today, but I took something. Something's helping me. So the Serpent Society was taking over a facility. I don't even know what they were taking over, but the plan was not to take it over, was to attack whoever comes after them and kill them.
Hmm.
That
Get
was
someone's attention, cause a scene.
because it's King Lizard's idea was, and he didn't tell his crew. They thought
Nope.
they were stealing something, and he's like, "Nope, we're doing fine." Because the alarm was going off, and everyone's like, "Oh, our plans are ruined." And he's like, "No, the plan is actually working perfectly." Now we wait.
And they're like, you want us to know we're here, and then he's like, yeah, yes, I
Yeah,
do.
that's how this works. It's like he made it seem like this is obviously the plan, idiots.
Yep. So
So
that scene,
no, that fight scene hit me in ways
I
that
was not expecting that.
I wasn't expecting.
So in
I
the
was
trailer,
expecting them to get hurt. I was expecting them to get hurt because it was only three of them. I was not expecting them to lose.
so with the fact that when we're watching in the trailer, obviously when we're seeing duplicate, uh,
Getting
when we're
destroyed.
seeing duplicate dying in the trailer, we're like, okay, yeah, we know this is happening. You know, she's gonna get her butt kicked. Didn't expect her to actually die.
No, I was shocked that they actually killed her.
Yep.
They so
And
duplicate died first,
yep.
and then
And then
the
the girl
small
that can.
stature girl went
Yep.
small. She was swallowed by the big lizard because she killed the first. She killed the guy she was fighting.
She killed the guy that she was fighting by getting small, going into his eye, and then just like blowing up his brain, I guess.
Well, I think she went in his head, grew bigger to pop his brain, and then she pushed his eye out to get out.
Yeah.
And
And
then she got eaten by the big lizard, the super strong lizard, I guess you would say. Then she tried to grow bigger and couldn't because he was too strong, and then he crushed her internally. I don't even know how that works. I guess because he's half lizard. I don't know. He got to be
So
snake.
it's like, yeah, I was not expecting that. When I heard her cry and I saw Rex's face, it was like, what just happened?
Well, no, I was like, why can't she get out? And then all of a sudden he went like this, and I went, oh, he's killing her.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, oh, oh.
and it's
And then he
like,
goes delicious.
yep, and it's like, and because it was like I'm seeing people, it's like he's contracting his bones to like crush her inside. I'm seeing people talk online to say like that's how he was able to
I don't even think it
crush
was his
her.
bones. I think it was his muscles. Because
Yeah, yeah,
the way I
that's
took
what I
it,
meant.
the way I took it was, I don't think, even though he looks like a human more than a lizard. Personally, I know that sounds weird to say, but like I'm talking about physiologically. Like he looks more human than lizard. So I thought he had like bones and shit.
Hmm.
I think he's more snake because I think what was happening is he actually used his muscles and constricted her
Yeah.
to the
So
point where he
that,
broke her bones and killed her
and that
and
was
then ate
just
her.
that was just messed up.
Yeah, that one, that scene. I was like, I was expecting him to pop,
Yep.
and then he
I was
didn't.
expecting his head to like blow up because
Yeah,
just like
I'm
where the
like, oh,
body.
oh, 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 and then I was thinking, oh, she's stuck, but he's dead.
Yep.
And then I'm like, he's not dead. She's stuck. She's crying. She's hurt. She's dead. Now she's dead.
Yeah.
And then
When
Rex,
like when he stopped moving, I was like, okay, she's just gonna get small, come out of his mouth, and then you just see the blood coming out of his mouth, and he just looks up, yum. I'm like, oh.
I was like, oh, that's not his blood. And then Rex.
Rex manages to kill him, and the serpent leader ends up stopping when he's down and injured because the big guy bit his hand off. He comes up behind him with a gun, and that's where the scene
Yeah, but doesn't
cuts.
he take out the slicing girl too?
Yeah, because there's three. So he takes her out first. Then
And
after
then he goes after the big guy, who then bites his hand off.
but I
Um,
think but I think he takes out her first.
no, I
And
know
then
that's what I'm saying. And then
while the shrinking girl is fighting him, it's
he's
technically 2-on-1.
correct, and he thinks that they've won
Yep.
because he's like, she's gonna pop open and kill him, and then it didn't happen, and I was like, oh. And so we didn't see him die though.
Nope. The scene cut when the gun was to the back of his head. Scene cuts to black.
We do hear the gunshot though, don't we?
I don't think so. No, I was no.
Maybe not. But anyway,
No.
the idea I'm making is he might not be dead.
All the scene cuts out with he just tells him to shut up and just do it, and then the scene ended.
Fair enough. And then I thought that's how the episode was ending, and then we got Alan the alien.
Alien survives, and he's got a whole new body.
I think what was cool was the guy was literally like, hey, by the way, it was a 50-50 shot. You're either going to die or you're going to get stronger. So I flipped a coin. And it worked.
So I liked that with the sense like I know when we ended it, he cut the life support, and
I was not prepared, though, for him to be a Viltrumite.
yeah, and I just like that the beard coming off means he's a Viltrumite. It's just like
Well, I think the reason for it is because the beard was to cover his jawline, which very much shows Viltrumite. Because if
yeah,
you notice, it wasn't just his beard. It was also some of his hair too.
yeah.
So like it was all of it. And
No,
then
but
obviously
it's
the
just it's
mustache.
interesting
You
that
gotta
it's
have a
like the
mustache when you're a
yeah.
man, and as a Viltrumite, you must have a mustache.
I just thought it was funny. It's like beard comes off. You're a Viltrumite. It's like what does that correlate to anything?
And really, the best part was I'm that idiot to go. He's a Viltrumite. Literally, when oh my god, he's a Viltrumite, and then I go, that's stupid. He just took his beard off. There was no difference. But I was that idiot to go, he's a Viltrumite. And then it registers in my head. No beard makes Viltrumite? I was like, yep, that's what happens. Oh,
Good to know for
um,
the future. You got a beard, it means you're not a Viltrum.
and if you're a woman, it's got to be a braid with a knife at the end. That's it. Um,
All the distinction you need.
yeah, man, woman, man, mustache, woman, braided knife.
But so we find out that Alan is able to, I guess, regenerate, and
Well, he has the
the
potential
old
to. I guess
man,
he's basically like Doomsday.
yeah, and the old man took the chance that he cut the life support. He figured he was either going to die, which if he was going to die, he was going to die anyways because he wasn't strong enough. He wouldn't,
Correct. But I think
or his body would heal naturally and become stronger.
we thought he was the,
We thought he was the traitor,
and he's obviously not.
and he's not. Well, he is a traitor.
But traded to the Viltrumites, not. So
Yep.
that really throws me off a little bit because now I'm like, I don't know who the traitor is. Bet you it's his
Exactly.
girlfriend.
So that's interesting. A whole nother layer. Like a lot happened in this one episode.
Well, yeah, but I think what killed me was it's like episode's done, like they showed the credits, and I'm like, oh okay. I was about to shut it off, and then all of a sudden, boop,
Yep. No.
Alan the alien, and I'm like, Alan looks different, like because we see his head, and then he just literally goes, like literally.
No, it's funny because when we saw him, and I'm literally sitting there, I'm like, something seems weird about him.
Like the animation didn't look right. I was like, why does his eye not look right? Like I kept looking at it, going like, something's weird. Like did they?
And then you see the whole body. I'm like, that wasn't like that before.
No, he rips out of it like it's freaking aluminum foil, and I go, oh, he bigger. And he's like, I'm so much stronger.
So obviously, in the next episode, we're going to be dealing with what happened with Rex. We're going to
we're going to be dealing with Mars and Rex.
Yep, we're going to be dealing with what's going on with Rex. See what officially happened with that. We're going to see
Mars. I have a feeling next episode we're going to have those two things answered, right? The Mars and Rex, and we're going to be seeing Nolan chained up or locked up at Viltrumite headquarters.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be seeing that yet. That's my only thing. Like,
I think it's going to be the end, just like Alan the Alien. This episode, that's going to be the end of next episode.
Yeah, if anything, like we're not going to see too much of it. If anything, it's going to be at the end to prepare for the next episode.
Very similar to what we saw with Alan the Alien.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a good episode. I did enjoy it. It's just it sucks that they killed the hype just to
Mike
throw
just hates capitalism, and Amazon is a capitalistic company. By the way, are you going to be watching Fallout?
Maybe. Yeah, probably. Probably.
I'm 100% watching it. I'm not going to say I'm watching it when it first comes out because I think they're releasing all the episodes at once, which is throwing me off.
That's what I mean. Amazon, honestly does that. Amazon did that for a while with the animated.
I think because they're not sure that this is going to be a hit or not, they wanted to have it all out. But I will watch it, but I'm probably not going to be able to watch it all at once. But anyway, is there anything else you want to talk about Invincible?
No. I'm looking forward to the next few episodes, and I mean, I'm ready to move on to the character spotlight.
I think Mike wants to do his character spotlight because he spent a lot of time trying to figure this character out. So let's give him the time of day to do it.
So I know you're trying to give me a hard time because of the fact that I looked up this character just before we started this because I forgot it was my week to do character spotlight. But I've been sitting on this character for literally 4 months. I looked him up.
So what I'm hearing is, Scott, whether you're being a jerk or not, you're not wrong, is what I'm hearing.
I'm prepared. That's my thing. He was a last resort kind of thing. And just so we know, just because I know you're anticipating it because Easter is next week.
No,
wait, no.
No, I would be. You're actually doing the character spotlight for Easter.
No.
No, you are though.
I'm supposed to be doing the character spotlight for Easter. I'm just saying it now. There is no Easter Bunny in DC.
You know what? James Gunn, cancel it. I'm done.
I know we had talked about Easter Bunny with when I did the Santa Claus coverage for Christmas. Where did you go?
I quit. I told you I quit.
Said I quit. So the one scene, I'm covering it right now. The one scene with the Easter Bunny was Easter Bunny for some reason hiring Lobo to kill Santa Claus. That's it. Nothing else. So, anyways,
Well, thanks for
my
saving it for
character
Easter.
spotlight. My character spotlight this week. He first appeared in DC Comics in Batman comic issue 113 in August 1958.
Oh, can I take a guess?
Go right ahead.
Actually, now I'm not comfortable. Now I don't know. Because I was gonna
I
say
still want to hear your guess.
no, I was gonna say Penguin, but I'm like, no, he wouldn't do Penguin. That's too mainstream.
Yeah, that's not an unknown character.
I know. That's why I literally was like, it's got to be Penguin. And I'm like, I just realized Penguin's a big character.
Like,
Never mind. I don't
he
know.
was just at the Oscars last week, so what? Okay. Anyways, the character that I'm doing is his name is Batman of Zur and R. I cannot say that. So he
So
was
no,
introduced in the Silver Age of comics, and he is an alien named Tlano from the planet Zur-Anar. And he basically decided to become Batman because he was surveilling Earth, saw Earth had Batman, liked it, and he's like, I'm going to be that. So
I
he
mean,
became Batman of his planet.
to be fair,
So,
that's what we do.
yeah, everyone dreams it.
Mm.
So, little topic for it in the Silver Age of comics. One night, Bruce Wayne finds himself in a daze. He dresses as Batman and takes off in the Batplane while remaining unclear of his actions. Batman soon finds out that he has been teleported to another planet called Zur-Anar. There, he meets the scientist Talano, monitoring his activities on Earth, and decided to become a version of Batman for his own planet. On this planet, the Batman of Earth has enhanced abilities similar to those of Superman due to the different elements of the alien planet.
Wait a minute,
The
wait a
two,
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Our Batman or their Batman?
our Batman.
Okay. So our Batman's basically Superman.
Yes.
Okay.
The two Batmen join forces to defeat giant invading robots piloted by an unidentified alien race. After the robots are destroyed, the Batman of Zur-Anar gives Batman, Bruce Wayne, his Bat Radia device as a keepsake before he returns to Earth. I'm assuming the Bat Radia is basically like a beacon to call him in case he ever needs him.
It's my Bat
Um,
signal, but it's in space.
yes. So that's in the Silver Age of comics. Now he's been updated in the modern age of comics. In the past, the psychiatrist Simon Hurt was hired to oversee an isolation experiment for which Batman volunteered. During this process, he gave Bruce Wayne a post-hypnotic trigger connected to the phrase Zur-Anar. Young Bruce Wayne's mishearing of his father's last words. The sad thing is they'd probably throw someone like Zorro in Arkham. That's what the young Bruce Wayne heard instead of Zur-Anar. Many years later, Dr. Hurt was working with the Black Glove when they decided to target Batman and his allies. First spreading information to the effect that Batman's father somehow survived his murder by Joe Chill. Then, using the Zur-Anar trigger in conjunction with drugs, he sent a dazed and confused Bruce Wayne onto the streets of Gotham with no memory of his life. Bruce assembled a makeshift Batman costume of a similar type to that worn by Tlano from the Silver Age story, and declares himself the Batman of Zur-Anar. The character Batmite appears on the last page with him of this comic series, commenting "uh-oh" over Batman's increasing delusions. Batmite then consoles the Zur-Anar Batman, revealed over the course of the story to be a backup personality created after the hallucinations Batman suffered when exposed to Professor Miller's gas. And um, shit, I accidentally hit the wrong button. My bad. It was intended to take over for Bruce Wayne if he was ever psychologically attacked in such a manner as to render Batman out of action. The colorful costume expresses a greater confidence and demonstrates a greater willingness to torture and possibly kill his opponents. On one occasion, the Zur-Anar Batman describes himself as being Batman when you take Bruce Wayne out of the equation.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah. It is revealed that Batman is actually a product of Batman's imagination, being Batman's rational side to prevent the unstable Zur-En-Arrh persona from going too far. Although he comments that he is from the fifth dimension because the fifth dimension is imagination.
Oh, so like he's real but not real at the same time.
Yep.
That's weird. I like it, but it's weird. The fifth dimension is imagination, so whatever you think about pops in. And look at what came here. Be
Yep.
You're my favorite
I mean, it's a
superhero,
good way to
Batman.
tie in something that, just can't be explained.
Well, no, it makes. I mean, it makes sense in the sense of like how they could still figure it out because the fifth dimension doesn't exist.
Yeah.
We don't even have the fourth dimension yet.
So, going a little bit into the costumes of the two incarnations of the Batman of the Zorn are the same, consisting of a gaudy, outlandish color. In the modern continuity, the crazed Bruce Wayne comments that despite the outrageousness of the costume, Robin had dressed this way for years, implying that it reflects the total confidence that Batman had in his ability to attract attention. Whereas normal Batman wanted to hide in the shadows. This one was like, I'm out here. So the color scheme of this Batman, he's
Is
in
it
a
red?
purple cloak, and he's literally basically in like the same colors as Robin.
Yeah,
It's like
red
a
and
red
green.
suit with black tights.
Oh,
I'm
no
gonna
green.
no, no green. I'm gonna try to put this to the camera just to see if you can see it, but I don't. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't think it's as bright as I wanted it to be.
I mean, even
Not
still,
as
it's still
flashy.
Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what. Like I agree with you. It literally looks just like Batman.
Um. So skills, abilities, and whatever. Talano possessed high tech equipment, owning to his residence of a futuristic planet.
Hmm.
His version of the Batmobile had an atomic powered motor, and he flew a rocket shaped Batplane. His main weapon was the Bat Radio, with which he could jam atmospheric molecules, affecting the equipment of his enemies. At the end of the story, Talano leaves Bruce with this device, which becomes inoperable in Earth's environment. So I was kind of wrong.
You were
Um,
wrong.
yeah,
Not kind of. You were wrong.
yes. The Bruce Wayne incarnation also possesses a Bat Radio, and this may or may not reflect a continuity between the two stories, as Grant Morrison has made efforts to treat Batman's entire publication history as his backstory. This version of the device scrambled security systems, for instance, overriding and confusing Arkham Asylum, as well as serving as a tracking device to allow Batman's allies to find him. To add a note of humor to the story, the radio is presented as a cheap ass radio instead of the object seen in the imaginary story, and members of the Black Glove dismiss it as such until they discover its true purpose. So, this is one of those cases where I guess the older version of the comics gave a little bit more to the character. Yeah, like it was entirely different character where like if there's a Batman, there's an alien in outer space that wanted to become Batman and he became Batman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whereas, huh?
No, I was gonna say pretty much.
Yeah, and then the modern version, it's just like a psychological breakdown that someone did cause Batman, and
Which makes a little bit more sense
yeah,
based on Batman's story. Let's be honest.
no, yeah,
But I actually did enjoy it. I was actually kind of surprised. You're gonna have to do a character spotlight on the Batman of Paris at some point.
Batman of Paris. Okay.
Yeah, because I actually did a Night Runner.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I did a character. This was years and years and years ago.
I think I remember that actually.
But it was an interesting one. It literally was somebody who was wanting to be Batman and tried to copy him, but then came their own name, but then was called the Batman of Paris, which confused the heck out of me because he doesn't look like Batman. He looked more like a Bat family member for sure, but like not Batman. So that's what killed me. But anyway, very good, Mike. I'm actually very proud of you. I'm happy. All right, so we've patted him on the back enough. Let's move on. So next,
Just so you know, I do have like a list of 3 backups for when the time comes where I'm like, I don't know if I can find a good spotlight character. I got another one. I got another couple in the back. So
notice how he's being defensive here. Notice how he's being defensive. I want the record to show that he's being defensive. So
yeah,
anyway, next episode, aka next week, we're gonna be talking about. So not all 10 episodes are gonna be released of '97 next week, are they? Or is it
I
one of
don't
the?
think so. I think it's
It's one,
weekly.
once a week, right? I hope
Oh,
so.
if it's all 10 episodes, then we're
Um,
we're so.
I was gonna say we're gonna have to split that up. Anyway, so we're gonna be talking about X-Men '97. We're gonna be talking about season 4 of X-Men the animated series, the latest episode of the Bad Batch, and the latest episode of Invincible.
And your character spotlight.
And if Scott remembers, his character spotlight. So if you made it this far, was a longer episode than than this season has been. So we very much appreciate it. We would like you to like and subscribe if you do like it. If not, tell us in the comments why you hate us or why you hate Mike. I'm fine with it. Other than that, this is going to
I'll
be
just
Scott.
twist it on Scott anyway, so it's fine.
He was going to anyway. If there's nothing else, guys, we thank you very much. We're going to be signing out. Have a great night.